Well, hello everybody, and welcome along to Road America, where we're delighted to say we are getting ready for the first of two events this weekend for the 2022 Mazda MX-5 Cup, the Idemitsu Mazda MX-5 Cup, presented by BF Goodrich. I'm John Hindhaugh, and alongside me in the Haggerty Global Broadcast Centre is Shea Adam. Good morning, Shea, as it is here, 9 o'clock, early start, ready to get underway. And once again, it's been a quick turnaround for the Idemitsu Mazda MX-5 runners after a bit of a layoff before they were back last week at Watkins Glen.
Good morning, John. Yes, it has been a very quick turnaround from the high banks of Watkins Glen and the elevation changes, to the high banks and the elevation changes of beautiful Elkhart Lake, Wisconsin in Road America as part of the NASCAR weekend. Our cars showing a little bit of wear and tear on them, but that's exactly what the NASCAR fans love to see.
Let's take a look at the Mazda starting grid. 30 cars pulling out of the pit lane. Starting at the back of the grid, Aiden Fasnacht for Macumbi Macalia Racing. That's not a problem for Aiden. He has won from the back of the grid before. Can he do it again today? We'll find out in about 50 minutes' time. Alongside him on row 15, Michael Starr for Slipstream Performance in the number 37 car. On the 28th position is Dante Tornello for Hickson Motorsports in the number 27. In 27th position, Jamie Hayosh in the JTR Motorsport Engineering number 81. On the 13th row of the grid on the outside, Ethan Taylor for Hickson Motorsports in the 80. Woody Hyman in the 82 is in 25th position for JTR. Chris Nooms of Formidable Racing is further back than he would like to be. The 32 car sits on the outside of row 12 with Moise Oretsky for Macumbi Macalia Racing on the inside in P23 for company. Jameson Riley for Copeland Motorsports number 31 is in 22nd position on the inside of the 11th row of the grid. Laura Hayes for Thunder Bunny Racing. On the 10th row, on the outside, David Starr for Slipstream Performance in the 36. Bryce Cornell, Hickson Motorsports in 19th position in the 65. On row number 9, Max Opalski for Copeland Motorsport in the 51 has Jensen Altsman in the number 13 for Macumbi Macalia Racing alongside him. In 16th position, Alex Pachura for Spark Performance in the 33 and the 69 of Andy McIntosh for JTR Motorsport Engineering. On the 7th row of the grid on the outside, Joey Atanasio, Formidable Racing. He's used to being close at the front in that black and green number 43 with Gresham Wagner. He's used to being much closer at the front in his Spark Performance number 5, 14th and 13th respectively, those two. Just outside the top 10 on row 6, Jared Thomas in the 96 JTR Motorsports Engineering number on P12, and his teammate Glenn McGee in the 23 JTR car is in 11th. Into the top 10 with Sam Paley at 10 on the outside of row 5, and Macumbi Macalia Racing in the 28. Aaron Johnson for Spark Performance in the 24 is in 9th place. On the outside of row 4, Justin Piscatel has the number 89 Macumbi Macalia Racing car, and alongside him is Bruno Cagnero, one of many rookies in the field, but not the top rookie by a goodly margin for Hickson Motorsport in the number 21 car. Top 3 rows now in the 08, Michael Carter, former series champion for Carter Racing Enterprises in 6th, with Celine Roland for Hickson Motorsports in the 87 in 5th. Jean Jourdain for Macumbi Macalia Racing is the 3rd best of the rookies, and he lines up alongside Parker Kligerman for Thunder Bunny Racing. Yes, that Parker Kligerman, number 75, holding his truck number, of course, in that car. It's his first time out in these cars. He counts as a rookie. And on the front row, Matthew Dirks for Macumbi Macalia Racing in a rebuilt number 76 machine after a big accident at Watkins Glen. And he has got pole sitter Connor Zilic in the Hickson Motorsport 72 on pole position alongside him with a new qualifying record here at the Idemitsu Mazda MX-5 Cup presented by BF Goodrich at Road America. 2 minutes 32.347. That's how they are lining up behind the Mazda MX-5 safety car. Shea Adam in the Haggerty Global Broadcast centre alongside me. Well, we've seen Aidan Fastnacht, or Aidan Fastnacht, as I think we should probably call him now, come from the back of the grid already last time out. This is a longer circuit, but we've still got 45 minutes. You wouldn't back against him doing that exactly the same again.
I've actually been talking to his team owner, Stephen McAleer, this morning about how pumped up this kid is. It's a ride height infraction that moved him to the back of the field. Didn't phase him one bit for Aidan Fastnacht. First 2 podiums ever the last weekend, one of them being a win. I expect big things from this young man today.
It's 2 infractions in the last 2 races. It was an oil filter that they had a problem with in post-qualifying tech last time around. So let's see how far he can make it up the field. Conor Zilic, we've seen him on pole position at the last round just a week ago. Wasn't able to turn that into a victory. Can he make a better start this time around? Take a deep breath wherever you are, here at Road America or around the world watching on IMSA Radio and IMSA TV, www.imsaradio.com, live world feed on the live video button. I know many of you joining us from racer.com as well. Stand by for action. Anything can happen in the next 45 minutes. 3/4 of an hour on the clock. First of 2 races for the Idemitsu Mazda MX-5 Cup at Road America. These cars are really nimble, but they react well to the draft as well. Expect to see an awful lot of slipstreaming right around the circuit. The green flag is in the air, and from pole position, Conor Zilic for Hickson Motorsports tries to get things underway. It's a very even break with the 2x2 start running down to the very fast entry to turn 1 for these cars. Zilic in the white number 72. Matthew Dirk still in the replacement car actually from last weekend. He's not back in his usual Army Air Force colours, and Zilic has managed to just get onto the racing line there, down to the bottom of the hill at what is effectively turn 3, and he's pulled through Parker Kligerman into second place in the black number 75. Parker had not driven one of these cars before. Thursday, spoke to him on Midweek Motorsport on Wednesday. Really looking forward to this. He knows he's got a target, metaphorically all over him. He's the man who is the interloper here to the series. Down to turn 5 for the first time. Kligerman looking down the inside. Celine Roland in the light sort of creamy green coloured car tries to come around the outside as they head up the hill and under the bridge for the first time. And Kligerman is being pushed along. There's a spin down through the field. That's David Staub, I think, in the 36, the blue car. Not couldn't quite see through. Yes, it is the 36 car.
I think you're right.
And there was a red car involved in that little push and shove as well as they headed up towards the Chevrolet Bridge. Looks like David hasn't managed to get that car moving again, and may be able to pick that up in the middle of the pack as to who it was. There was some push and shove going on the outside into that red car. Did you catch who that was who started that year?
No, I didn't actually, but I think you're right. I think it was the red car. It was the instigator, but my eyes were trained at the front of the field, and Conor Zilic, who is doing a fantastic job this weekend, not only in Mazdas, but he's pulling double duty, John. So he's having to bounce back and forth between a TA2 car. There are a lot of eyeballs on Conor Zilic, who has very strong NASCAR ties. And so for him, good move to get it done in the first corner and keep it clean.
It's Bryce Cornet, who I think was tipped into the side. He has damage on the right front, and he was speared across the track. It was one of the red and white, the Soul red and white cars, but it was Bryce Cornet who was tipped into the spin there. We are still green at the moment as they come across the line for the first time. Keep an eye on the draft. These cars are open top, and the FIA roll cage does make a big hole in the air. Zilic across the line with in second Parker Kligerman, then in third second is Celine Roland. Couldn't see him there, he was so close to the back of the leader. Then Parker Kligerman, then Caniero, Carter Piscatel, Aaron Johnson, Matthew Dirks, Sam Bailey and Jared Thomas make up your top 10, and that's how quick they went across the line. So it's Hickson, Thunder Bunny Hickson, Carter Racing Enterprises, and McCumbee McAleer Racing, your top 6. So Hickson there quite a lot of their team members there, 3 in the top 6 there, and the top 4 breaking away, making that the top 5. What we've seen here, Shea, in the past, haven't we, is that if you don't fight and you work together as a group, you might be able to spring a bit of a gap.
Exactly, and right now, this is exactly what Celine Roland needs. He is second in the championship hunt coming into today's race, but he is almost 420 points behind the leader, being Mr. Thomas. So, in order to catch back up to Jared Thomas, Celine Roland needs to beat him by many positions in each of the next races that he can manage, and having his teammates around him adds a little bit of cushion.
The race lap record here, it stands to Michael Carter from 2021, and that was a 2:33.5. I have a strong suspicion that that's going to disappear. The qualifying record was held by Celine Roland until qualifying yesterday, and that was a 2:33.0. It went down to a 2:32.3, so better part of 7/10 of a second. So the leading group then just pulling away a little bit as they head down to Canada Corner. Time certain race, 40 minutes of it left. Roland down the inside into Canada Corner and takes the lead. Sounds simple for me to say it, but there's a big slide coming off Canada Corner from Celine Roland. He's managed to hold it as they go to Bill Mitchell Bend. The tricky little left-hander changes camber just over the top of the rise. Now heading down to the final corner, change of surface there as well, and then the long drag up the hill, a little bit of bump drafting going on. Cañero sitting in 3rd position, then Michael Carter, then it looks like our guest driver, Parker Kligerman, listed as a rookie, just dropping away a little bit, and he's got some company there from Justin Piscatel in the blue car with the yellow rollover hoop and yellow wheels. Piscatel goes to the right-hand side. Meantime, damage further down the field, and that is coming into the pit lane for, I think that was one of them, but could be McAlee. Was that Sam Paley coming into the pits in the 28? I think it was shit in the blue car.
I think you're right, John. It looked like the 28 machine. I've just also had some intel on Aiden Fastnock's winning car from last week. They ran it in first practice 1 and 2, had some electrical issues with it, so he is back to a backup car, not moving quickly forward through the field like he did last week, but still keep an eye on that young man. His black machine that took him to the front last week, that's parked up in a trailer.
He's up to 15th position, so he's doing a decent job, not as quick as he was last week. Fastest lap time at the moment at 2:34.1, so we're not quite down to lap record pace, and Celine Roland leads out from Connor Zilic in 2nd, 3rd is Bruno Cañero, then the red, white and black car in 4th is Michael Carter in the 08, and just hanging on to the back there is the number 75, that's his Camping World truck number, of course, from Parker Kligerman, and the Henderson truck in the Toyota that he normally drives. Had a great chat with him on Midweek Motorsport on Wednesday. Took time out from travelling down here to speak to us on our weekly 2-hour show. Which had to go into overtime because we had so much to squeeze into that one. If you want to listen to it back, go to radiolemans.com. All the archive is absolutely free there. Search Midweek Motorsport on your podcast app. You'll find it there as well. Under 38 minutes to go. And there's a lead 6 now because Piscatel has hooked onto the back, and coming behind him, the all white with red striped number 24, Aaron Johnson. That's the car, the number 24 with the white stripes over the fenders and down the side. A little bit of blue on the back, and then the white car behind him is Matthew Dirks. That's the number 76. Then
Still
Gresham
in a backup
Wagner.
car from last week.
Still in that backup car. Then the multicoloured Gresham Wagner in the 5 car. He's pulled up well, hasn't he? Gresham qualified well down the grid. He was outside the top 10. He was at 13, so he's made up 4 places. And Jared Thomas now making up the Joey Atanasio, making up the top 10. He's just a little bit further back, the black car with the green stripes. So the top 9 are having a heck of a scrap down the hill to turn 3. And still, Celine Roland leading. Here comes Gresham Wagner onto the back of that pack. Needs a result here, Shea, this weekend, Gresham.
Yeah, he does. He had a very rough weekend at Watkins Glen, but what a move from his former championship rival, Michael Carter, to make the pass for third. Going into turn number 1, he made it stick on Carniero. He's now up near the tail of that lead pack. He's going to be fighting for the lead here in a second.
Had 4 Idemitsu Mazda MX-5s wide for a moment, and BF Goodrich tyres on the grass for, I think that was Matthew Dirks in one of the white cars further back. Yes, it was. Yeah. And he's just dropped a position back behind the 24 of Aaron Johnson. He had made up some positions, but those two back as they were when they crossed the line. Roland then leading from Zilic. Remember, Zilic is a rookie in this particular series, but very few people come in with no experience at all, Shea, and that's all because of the ladder system that Mazda run with its MX-5, and there's cash behind that ladder system as well.
Yes, there is $250,000 for winning the championship. It pays all the way down to 10th place, but you get $110,000 for the scholarship if you win that grassroots scholarship like Connor Zilic did last year. Bryce Cornet was second in that last year. He still came to the series with money as well. And if you're Rookie of the Year, $80,000, which is why Joey Atanasio wants to get as far up this field as he can, because not only is he fighting for the Rookie of the Year championship, he's third in the overall.
Still, Celine Roland weathering the storm, weathering the pressure. And this first 5 now, and then maybe 2 cards back to the 6th position of Justin Piscatel, the sort of purpley blue car with the yellow roll cage. Well, as I say that, of course, he's immediately closed up onto the back through the final corner. It's Kligerman this time who goes a little bit wide, but still people following him, trying to get the draft. The slipstream, the draft here is really, really strong on all of these long straights because of the hole in the air that these cars make. They don't have a huge amount of aerodynamics, but because it is an open-top car, it does really disturb the air behind. Michael Carter pulls to the left, to the right. It is Connor Zilic as they go down into turn number 1. Then they all drop back onto the racing line and ride the curbing under the Arians Bridge. That effectively, that kick is turn 2, but it's flat out in these Masters. Down to turn 3, not really scrubbing off a lot of speed there either. Not really an overtaking spot now, turn 3. These cars with the Sadev sequential gearbox, these are proper race cars coming from Yokohama on the boat to northern Florida, and then they are taken to the Fliss brothers, who prepare all of them, and they are stripped back. The engines are put to one side and sealed. They're not touched. 4-cylinder, 2-litre, 180 horsepower. They're sealed, but pretty much everything else is taken out and replaced with race kit. So you've got the phenomenal Multimatic adjustable suspension, side-by-side Carter and Kligerman now through turn number 5 and onto what I think will be a flat-out turn. Through turn 6, through turn 7. I think that might be flat out in these cars. So you've got that fabulous Multimatic suspension, you've got race wheels, you've got BF Goodrich tyres, you've got the Sadev box, FIA roll cage and fire suppression system, both of which we've seen have to play their part. We don't like to see that, but we know it's worked. It's been tested in the field, absolutely. And what you have here is a very, very capable racing car indeed, with 3/5 of nothing at all, and with 180 horsepower powering the back wheels. This is pure racing through the kink. And the leading pair, just as we said, Shea, as soon as there's a bit of a battle, and there was a bit of a battle, Kligerman, Michael Carter and Bruno Carniero all battling, and all of a sudden the lead pair have got away by 2 or 3 cars lengths.
Yep, but the fastest lap still belongs to Gresham Wagner, and he's nearly a second quickest than the quickest time that we have seen from Celine Roland or Connor Zilic. So a lot of pace further back in that second pack. But John, you just talking about these cars and this track, this is the perfect place for Parker Kligerman to make his debut in this championship, because it's all about the draft, it's all about momentum, and it is exactly what he is used to from racing an Xfinity and NASCAR Cup at this place.
Hugging the pit wall, the 2 leaders come through. Celine Roland drifts back to driver's left to take the racing line through the first corner. Kligerman leading the second group. Number 5, Gresham Wagner, trying to get on the back, runs very wide indeed. And here comes Matthew Dirks and Aiden Fastnacht in the top 10 as well. Jansson, Dirks and Fastnacht is just about a couple of seconds back. So once again, Fastnacht, even though he's not in the same car with which he came from back to front last weekend, he still has the power, he still has the pace.
And he still has the will and ambition to try and get another trophy. He got 2 last weekend, but the boy's greedy. He wants more. And speaking of greed, it looks like Connor Zilic is going to make a move on his teammate, Celine Roland.
Didn't really defend there, Celine. I think he realises that they're getting caught by the next group of cars now. Can those 2 Hickson cars work together now? Maybe Zilic's car is just a little bit quicker in this part of the race. Here comes Kligerman. Now, Kligerman, Parker was saying to me on Wednesday, we've known each other for over a decade, and he's been on our show before. He loves his road racing. He's a student of European style racing. Would love to go to Spa and to Bathurst and to Le Mans 24 hours. He says, look, I want to be involved. I know there's possibly going to be a little bit of rubbing. I realise I might have to reach out the car and reset my door mirror on driver's side, but I don't want to get involved with the championship. So we'll see him, yes, of course, in that TBR Thunder Bunny racing car. He'll be involved. What he doesn't want to do, and he says he will not do, is try and spoil anybody else's race. But a hand signal going on here from Celine Roland saying, right, we've lost touch with the leader here. Now come on, Parker. I know you're a global superstar. I know you pick up a mic for NBC, but you've got to work with me here if we're going to get back to the front.
Yep, and it's not about influencing championships, but it is about making Thunder Bunny Racing look really, really good, because Laura Hayes and her entire team deserve that, and Parker wants to give back to a little team that hasn't gotten all of the attention that the bigger teams have. So for Parker, there is another meaning to this race as well, but you're right, John, he is not going to be somebody to influence the championship.
Can't do that. You absolutely cannot do that.
He wants to be invited back.
Well, yeah, I've been in guest cars before, and particularly towards the business end of the season, and we're just over halfway through this 2022 Idemitsu Mazda MX-5 season. You just can't do it. Better to stay out the way. Aiden Fastnacht still coming strong in that number 15 car, strongly in that number 15 car. And now in 10th position. His last lap at 2:33.7, so well over half a second quicker than the leaders, so he's still gaining on them. And once again, the top 9 are back together, all the way back to Oren Johnson in the 24. That's the white car with the red stripes over the fenders, over the front wings. And they're pretty much together, Shea. I'm seeing the top 9s together. There's a couple of gaps there, but really, honestly speaking, the top 9 are back together. And here comes Fastnacht. He's dragging Joey Atanasio in the black 43. That's the car with the green stripes on the front of it. He's dragging him closer to the front of the field. Under half an hour to go now, 28.5 minutes.
This is where things start to get nerve-wracking for those people who are involved in the championship that we were just talking about, John, because people like Aaron Johnson sitting in 10th position in the championship, well, it pays out to 10th. You don't want to do anything to compromise your position in the points, but Aiden Fastnacht, who is 13th in the championship, will do anything to get into that top 10.
And he's looking for more race victories. He's clearly wanting to make a mark. In years gone by, particularly with this car, with this championship being part of the IMSA paddock, it's often been seen as a stepping stone to greater things, and many people have gone on to greater things. But as Mazda have concentrated their efforts and their finances into the Idemitsu Mazda MX-5 Cup, then this has become somewhat of a destination championship as well. And when you've got over 500,000, yes, over $500,000 in prize money this year being doled out in this championship, you can understand why. The winner of the championships get 250,000. It costs between 80 and 100,000 to run yourself through a whole season, so it can be a major contribution to your racing. And it's great racing, Shea. That's the other thing.
Yeah. Yeah, well, proof in the pudding that the last two championship winners of the Idemitsu Mazda MX-5 Cup Championship have stayed in the series. Gresham Wagner won it last year. He currently gets 10 bonus points for setting the fastest lap of the race. And the other one, Michael Carter, he's driving the 08 machine in 3rd position. So if you're going to matriculate, this is not the championship for you, because most people like it so much they tend to stick around.
And the cars have been the same specification for quite a long time. The most recent addition was that 6-speed sequential gearbox, and that's been in the car for quite some time. So it's not as if you're having to spend a fortune on your car every other year to update it. So Gresham Wagner 233.578. That's a 95-mile-an-hour lap around here for these little 2-litre 4-cylinder 180 horsepower cars. That's pretty much hauling the mail. The top 9 are together at the back of the group. Bruno Canhero has just started to lose his rear bumper, and it looks like Johnson has dropped off the back and is about to be eaten up by Aiden Fastnacht going down into turn 9. As at the front, a little caught break there for Parker Kligerman. The right front, BF Goodrich locked up for a moment, and Fastnacht has gone through. That's the second of the black cars going under the bridge now, up to the top of the hill at turn 6. So Fastnacht now up into 9th position and can see the leading group ahead of him. Just a slight miscalculation on the centre pedal there. Maybe just a little bit on the curb for Parker Kligerman. He'll be very annoyed with himself. Drops down from 3rd, challenging from 2nd, down to 7th and defending that position. Meantime, behind him, Fastnacht made the pass. And behind them, everybody else is in 11th position.
Very well stated. It was Jameson Riley, Laura Hayes, Chris Nunes. Everybody is just in there fighting for that second pack to try and be the leader. Bruno Carniero's bumper definitely starting to get a bit worse, though, as Hickson Motorsport still 1, 2, and 5 now for Carniero.
Big mistake by Fastnacht through the exit of the kink, and he's done well to hold on to that, and he hasn't even lost a position as yet, but he's got Road America dirt on his BF Goodrich tyres, and coming down to Canada Corner, I do feel that Janson may have the momentum there as he goes down the inside. Did he make the pass? I'm not sure. We'll see them as they come through Bill Mitchell Corner this time. And heading up towards the end of the lap. Yes, Janson did get back through into 9th. So Fastnacht with a tiny little error there. That's how hard he's pushing. I'm wondering if the number 21 Canhero car might get the meatball flag. I tell you what, you've got to give it to Fastnacht. He lifted not one iota on the grass. I know the BF Goodrich make good tyres, and I know they make off-road tyres, but goodness me, bit of bump drafting on the straight. And it's the Michael Carter car that was getting pushed forward there by Gresham Wagner, Celine Roland in the middle of all that. Then the 76 is Matthew Dirks in the all-white car. Kligerman being shuffled back towards the end of that leading group as things are hotting up at the front. And by the way, the combined winning margin for the last 12 races of the Idemitsu Mazda MX-5 at Road America, last 12 races, add first to second together for those dozen races, under 5 seconds. So that's what we can expect here at the front of the field. Zilich then leading by half a second, and it's side by side. Roland and Michael Carter in behind there. Gresham Wagner. Oh, down the outside into turn 5. Surely Celine's not going to get that pulled back, and he doesn't. Has to go off the track and lose his second position. Fastnacht is back up to 9th ahead of Johnson. Then it's Atanasio behind there. Another big slide. That's the number 76, the white car of Matthew Dirks. This is getting a bit fruity with 23 minutes to go. We're into the second half of this race, Shea Adam, and it's beginning to get a little more fraught.
And John, who are those 3 cars that are fighting for second place now? That would be Celine Roland, Gresham Wagner, and Michael Carter. I think we've said those 3 names in succession once or twice before.
What a drive by Connor Zilich, though, not phased out by Roland trying to go around the outside. He just hit his marks and turned in, and the Hickson Motorsport number 72 was on Paul Zilich for this round, and with a new fastest qualifying time here, we've not quite got down 33.578. We're not quite, we're about half a second away. Gresham Wagner, the quickest guy in the circuit still, and that will get him some bonus points, 10 bonus points in the championship, but not quite down to the race record of Michael Carter from last year. again side by side, out onto the runoff there at Canada Corner for, that was Dirks, wasn't it? Yes, it was.
Yep.
Matthew. A lot of spare cars out
Still
at the
in
moment.
That backup car.
Yes, exactly. Here comes the blue with yellow. That's Justin Piscatell, and he goes through. So that little mistake at Canada Corner has cost Dirks in the white car. This is getting very interesting up at the front. I've got a feeling Zilic is just turning it up a little bit now. Last time around, 2:34.8. He was 0.4 of a second quicker than the pack behind him, which is led by the red hood of that 08 of Michael Carter.
But still well off of the fastest time from Gresham Wagner at a 2:33.5. So the lead pack has cooled off quite a bit. He might be turning the wick up a little bit as Connor Zilic, but he's still keeping some powder dry.
Yeah, looking to make that gap. Whilst the 7 cars, 8 cars behind him are fighting, of course it's all good news if they start to work together. And by the way, Fastnacht is back on the is he back on the back of that group? I think he is.
Yeah.
Yes, he's there. There's 2 black cars at the back, separated by a white car, and that is Parker Kligerman. And the second of the black cars just going up the inside now into turn number 6 at the top of the hill. That's Fastnacht going through. That's another position made. So that was Matthew Dirks, I think, dropping back down through the back. I think he may have overworked his BF Goodrich tyres at the back. I saw him getting sideways coming out to turn 5 at the FPR car of Aidan Fastnacht, the McCumbee Macanea Racing machine coming through, and he's now behind the Thunder Bunny Racing car. So the 2 black cars at the back of that are Parker Kligerman in 8th and Aidan Fastnacht now in, no, make that 7th and 8th, because we've had Dirks has dropped behind them. So I reckon they're 7th and 8th now, timing just catching up.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. And with Bruno Carniero right ahead of them, that means we've got 3 rookies in a line, but it is rookie of the day leading the way. Connor Zilic led the most laps so far. We are just beyond the halfway point of this race, meaning that if Celine Roland could get back to the front, he still could take the 10 bonus points for leading the most laps, but I think it's going Connor Zilic's way, so that will be 20 points total bonus for Connor Zilic after getting pole position as well.
Yeah, Jean Jourdouin was right up the sharp end of the field early on, but has dropped away a little bit now, and his times are going back. There was contact, I think, early on, if I remember rightly.
He had to switch to a backup car earlier this week, John. He hit the wall in practice 1, and that caused them to switch cars.
His time's gone out there. He was over 3 minutes last time around. He's gradually dropping back down through the field. We lost Bryce Cornet and Sam Paley early on when they were tipped into contact going up the hill towards turn 6 by another car. I wonder if that was Jourdouin who was also involved in that. It may have caused issues there. Certainly Cornet and Sam Paley into the pits. I saw the blue number 28 coming in very, very early on. Meantime, at the front of the field, Connor Zilic, who set the new qualifying record earlier this week, is leading, but by a reduced margin, just under half a second now. Back to Michael Carter in the 08, the car with the red hood, the red bonnet, and then a slightly lighter coloured car with the orange on the top of the fenders. That is 3rd place, and that is Celine Roland. Then it's Gresham Wagner in the multicoloured car. Then the light blue car with the yellow rollover hoop and the yellow wheels. That's always easy to spot. The 89 of Justin Piscatell for McCumbee Macanea Racing, and off has got Parker Kligerman. Kligerman's had a big one. Kligerman is off in the Thunder Bunny Racing car. Now, did he get a touch there? Needs to get down through the gearbox. I thought he's going to dig himself in. This will be a safety car. He bounced out of the wall but can't quite get it going. He's just going to dig himself in, and the guest driver does what the guest driver never wants to do. Side-by-side contact, I think, here as they were coming up to the top of the hill. Down the inside, Aidan Fastnacht. That was a fairly stout hip and shoulder from Fastnacht. Really good half save from Parker Kligerman. as he came through, and it looked like he was going to save it, and then the car did what's known in the trade as a tank slapper, swapped the other way. Now, if he could have got it into first straight away down through that box, he might have been able to pull out the gravel. But that is a very hard thing to do whilst you're spinning. And off behind, also another issue, and that's another one of the Thunder Bunny racing cars, isn't it?
Or is it MMR?
Oh, it is MMR, yeah.
Yeah. I think that might have been John Jadouin, actually, in the black
39.
number 39.
You're absolutely
full course
right.
Caution is out.
You're absolutely right. Full course caution out with 17 minutes on the clock. We'll all pack up behind the safety car. You're right, that was John Jadouin because he was well off the back of the field. He arrived later on. Whether he got spooked by the yellow flags there, not sure, but it looked like he just went straight on there. He's been struggling for lap time in that Macumbi McAleer racing car. So Conor Zilic has the chance to cool his tyres. 2 cars off at turn 5. Check that, turn 6, excuse me, top of the hill. Go ahead, Shea.
Yes, most importantly for Conor Zilic, this yellow flag means that nobody will lead more laps than him, so he does have those 10 bonus points guaranteed. And when you are fighting for positions in a championship where real cash money makes the difference, he is currently 20 points behind Justin Piscatell, so regardless of what happens in the race today, i.e. if he wins or finishes further down, he's going to be up to 7th in the championship at the very least.
I just wonder if there'll be any sanction on the Aiden Fastnacht, number 15. He was up the inside, he had nose ahead. You've got to ask, was he making the corner? I think he probably was, but there was a little jink sideways. It's going to be a tough one. That's why I never want to be in race control. Parker Kligerman, I don't think you can put any fault on Parker there. He was trying to hang it out on the outside of the car, outside of the corner. He may get out here actually without losing a lap if the official safety truck of Road America, the Chevrolet, can get him out. Now he'll have kept the engine running. He's got the rear BF Goodrich's on hard standing, well, nearly, and he's out and he's away. So didn't quite pull him far enough onto the gravel to lose a bit, onto the grass rather, to lose a bit of the gravel. So there's the safety car. He's got out right in front of the safety car. So here's the story now. Never mind qualifying in 3rd for this race and 2nd for the next one. Never mind battling for the top positions. He's going to have about 12 minutes to do an Aiden Fastnacht and catch back up with the man who knocked him off the track. That is the challenge for Parker Kligerman.
He's currently scored in 26th position with only 1 car behind him, that being Jared Thomas, our championship leader. So let me send a text message and figure out what's happening with him.
What happened to Jared? He was right up there a moment or 2 ago. That's the blue car with the yellow. I thought I saw that car. That might be a transponder issue. Let's visually check them as they come through.
Because Jared Thomas in the metallic aluminum color, as it is now, I think was what we were calling it. It is one of those fantastic race cars that always catches your attention. And we've seen it at the front of the field more often than not this year, is by dint of him leading the championship by 400 points. He's not there.
You're right. Piscatell's there in the other JTR car, but I don't see Jared Thomas in, what we call it, metallic titanium or something like that?
Metallic titanium, yes, that's what it was.
Yeah.
That Dave Thomas, the owner of JTR, deemed it.
Right, so Jared Thomas way off the back and had a 5-minute lap time last time around. Now, okay, some of that would have been under yellow, but that is bad news for the championship leader. Started in 12th position, and Shea Adam has news.
I've asked the question. I'll let you know when I hear back.
Well, well, well. 12.5 minutes to go behind the safety car, which of course is a Mazda MX-5, running in the colours that we last saw gracing the Mazda RTP24. Yeah, the DPI car. And about this time, the last time that car was racing was, we called it the summer of Mazda, because the DPI was winning for fun around these middle races of the IMSA calendar and made a run for the championship. I think we'll be going back green next time around, or are we going back green now? See if the safety car lights are out. Yes, they are. So the Connor Zilic, number 72, Hickson Motorsport machine, will take them to the red flag. There's a little bit of packing up behind. I reckon he'll hold off and not accelerate until he's over the top of the hill. Here he comes now, and now he gets on the throttle. That's exactly what he's done, and there was a little bit of concertina effect at the back of the group there. Hope nobody got rear-ended. Easy thing to happen. Zilic then on the pit wall side of the long front straight. Here comes the red car in second. That's Michael Carter. He gets onto the racing line. He'll try the old over and under, and still that bumper is flashing around behind Bruno Canhero in 7th position. Fastnacht is right in there now in the top 6. He'll have cooled his tyres as well. Amazing that Canhero bumper has held on the number 21. Behind him, new lease of life for really Matthew Dirks in the white number 76. Jensen Altsman in there as well, has fought his way up from just outside the top 10. Jensen qualified in 17th position for Macumbi Makalia Racing. Down towards turn 5, Celine Roland tries the outside move. He's tried that again and went very wide. He goes wide again, but he's almost into second. Atanasio goes wide, and also behind him,
Max Opalski.
Was it Max? Yes.
Tyler Gonzalez's car.
Yeah, absolutely right. And now it's a grassy moment for Celine Roland. He got a bit of a hip check. Here comes Fastnacht. He's on the grass, round the Hurry Downs, down towards turn 8. And he'll have to lose a couple of positions, pulls back in front of Bruno Canhero. No, that's not Canhero. Excuse me, that's further down. Canhero's got the flapping bumper. So wow, that was a lot of places lost. So who was that?
Really was.
Where did he come back on there?
I think at least P15.
It all started at turn 5 when Celine Roland goes wide, but behind him Atanasio misses his braking point. Then the Copeland Motorsport car going wide as well. Then there's a bit of side-by-side bumping and boring going up the hill. But then at turn 6 into 7, Celine goes on side-by-side with Gresham Wagner. He comes back on and taps Aizen Fastnacht as he hit the curb, rejoining. Yeah, it was Michael Carter, in fact, who gently ushered Celine Roland off in the red and white car, and as he rejoins in behind Piscatel, there's just a touch to the right front of the 15 Sword car of Fastnacht. There goes Canhero. Behind Canhero, Matthew Dirks. So that must have been Jensen Altsman that he joined in behind. And further back again, a spin for the 37 of Michael Starb in the Slipstream Performance car, in one of those very pretty blue cars. And he's made it all the way to the wall in that Liqui Moly car and scraped the beautiful paintwork on the right-hand side, but has managed to rejoin. Phew, eh?
Wow, Michael, who sat out last weekend's activities, clearly he's getting his fill of it this week. But I was going to say something, John, and I didn't. But Michael Carter hasn't had a podium finish all year. Very hard to believe. So he will be desperate to do anything to try and get back onto the podium. But how much do you think he's going to push for that top step? He thinks a lot.
Could do with some points in the championship. Hasn't been where he wanted to be. Gresham Wagner still with the fastest lap. That's the 3rd place car. And 10 championship points going that way. In that group, then Zilic leads, Carter leads, Wagner leads, Piscatel, Roland, Dirks, Canhero. Then it's Johnson. Fastnacht right in there, coming down the inside, trying to make up more positions. He goes down the inside of Canhero. That's the battle for 7th. And he likes this inside line. Fastnacht into turn 6 in the black number 15 Sword car. And through he goes.
Penalty, John. Penalty for Aizen Fastnacht.
Had to
drive through.
Yeah, and that was presumably for the contact with Parker Kligerman in the 75.
I would imagine so.
A lot of track limits as well. Well, that has brought his charge to an end. He'll be disappointed with that. I'll be honest, I could have seen that being called as a racing incident. I don't really think you could have ever called it on Parker Kligerman, but I understand that one. Absolutely understand why that's being called. Very tight up there towards turn 6. So into the last inside the last 8 minutes now.
Yeah.
There's a few damaged cars out there at the moment.
Rubbin is racing.
Is it ever? David Starb trying to get back onto the back of the pack as well. Once again, Cañero is wide, this time at Canada corner, through Bill Mitchell Bent as they head towards the end of another lap. 7 minutes on the clock. So Fasnacht needs to peel off right now, just in case.
Yep.
His team must be fighting his corner. He's not come in this time around.
Yellow flag.
And the yellow's out. And if Fasnacht had come in there before the yellow, if he'd committed to the pit lane, he would have been back on the group of cars. Wow.
Now, who was the yellow for?
It's for the 55.
Moisey Uretsky.
Moisey has gone off.
Oh, he's at 5.
Yeah, turn 5, bottom of the hill. He was in the gravel a moment or two ago. He's been dug out by the racing, safety truck. I think he just missed his braking point. Oh no, he got help. And Uretsky then, was that Dante Tornello?
Yep.
I think it was Dante Tornello.
Getting into him.
6 minutes to go. Now there is an entry into the paddock just to the driver's right here. Let's see if he can fire the 2-litre 4-cylinder engine and get those 180 horses pulling him in the right direction. Ah, no, he's got damage. That's very good sportsmanship there from Uretsky, because he's going to pull straight into the back of the paddock. That's his race over.
Yeah. He is a superb competitor, John. He's been racing in a lot of different series this year. He's been having a lot of success in other places as well. And his coach, Justin Piscatel, also driving with him in the Idemitsu Mazda MX-5 Cup Championship. They work very well together, but Moisey has been taught, first and foremost, don't mess up anyone else's race. That's not why we're here. We're here to learn.
I think Bruno Cañero is finally trying to realise that he's got to try and get rid of that rear bumper. It's hanging on by one fastener right underneath the rear trunk lid, the boot lid of that car. I think we'll come back to green this time around, and once again it'll be Conor Zilic who brings them to green. Yeah, the safety car lights are out. I reckon we're going to have, what lap times are we doing? 2:33. I reckon we'll have 2 laps at the end of this. We're going to be something under 4 minutes. So that will be this one. We might come to white and green as we come through this time around. Let's just see. If not, it'll be green, white, checker. How appropriate on a NASCAR weekend for Conor Zilic, but that is down to the time and the Pearson safety car. Aiden Fasnacht has not yet taken his drive-through. I can only suspect that he and his team, at least, he can talk to his team. They do have pits to car radio, so presuming that McCumbee Macaleer Racing, and I'm not sure if Stephen at Macaleer or Chad McCumbee are here this weekend, Shea.
Nope, he is on site. Stephen was sending me text messages earlier.
Good.
He is there. He is on the radio.
Thank you, Stephen, for keeping in touch. So they'll be talking to race control and fighting the corner, but I tend to think incident responsibility is something that's not going to be rescinded. And effectively, if he doesn't come in within 3 laps of it being called, and this is now, would you say this is the first lap since it was called, or the second lap? Maybe he'll stay out and take the time penalty if he thinks he doesn't, if it's not going to happen.
Oh, no, I wouldn't do that. In this series, given how close the cars are all together, you're going to drop, what, 50? And there's only 30 in the field.
Yeah, true enough. Start 20 places down on the next one as well. Slim Volant just out of line, coming down into Canada corner. We're going to go green with about 2.5 minutes to go. So I reckon it will be green, white, checker here. Fasnacht right in the middle of the pack, right ahead of Matthew Dirks in the white number 76. Right in front of him is Justin Piscatel. Now, the way I read this year from the regulations, he can't do his drive-through and follow the safety car in. I think it's got to be green when he comes in.
No, I think he can follow the safety car in because, yeah, I think he's okay to do that.
Let's see if he pulls out a line. He has not. Fastnacht has stayed out. 2 minutes and 18 to go. Let's see if we get the white flag this time around. I think we might. Yes, we are. So it is green and white together because of the pace of the safety car. 2 minutes on the clock. So it is one lap of 4 miles to decide the first race of 2 this weekend here at Elkhart Lake, Wisconsin, and America's National Park of Speed. Joey Atanasios pulled out the line. He's on the outside, coming down into turn 1, but the leaders go through. Big sideways moment for Piscatell. And a fabulous piece of avoidance by Aaron Johnson, who has to try and pick his way through. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 wide going down into turn number 3, and Chris Noons in the car with the pink front was on the grass for a moment. This is great news for Conor Zilic, the man who qualified on pole with a new qualifying record, has pulled out half a car's length from Michael Carter and Gresham Wagner, and Celine Roland is still in there as well. Roland right in 4th position. Behind him is Fastnacht. Here comes the battle for the lead down to turn 5. The outside pass hasn't really worked, and it's Wagner going down the inside of Carter this time. The 2 cars side by side are for 2nd and 3rd. Wagner in the red-white car gets back into 2nd. Check that, Carter in the red-white car gets back to 2nd. My goodness, that's tight. Roland on the grass again in the lighter colour of the car, and Fastnacht still in this. He might get a finger wagging at the end of this from the clerk of the course for not coming through for that drive-through. We'll wait for the stewards to sort that one out. Halfway around the final lap, they're through the hurry downs and in turn 8 and into the carousel, and Conor Zilic now has only really carried a corner and the last corner and the run up the hill to defend, I reckon, here, Shea, but he's going to have to defend because Carter's right there.
And Carter is thinking about making this move. He's going to stay up tight behind him, going through the kink, and then make the look going into Canada corner. But he needs to be careful because Gresham Wagner still hanging on to that 3rd position. Any one of them could wind up on the top step.
Celine Roland could end up in the top step, I tell you here, because if those 3 make an indiscretion coming down, this is the last big braking area. Fastnacht goes to the left-hand side, and another spin in the background, and that was the Staub car again. I think that was David Staub who was going around this time. The 36 rather than the 37 coming through the kink, so that might have been a very big moment. Through Bill Mitchell corner for the final time now. Top 6 are together. Fastnacht is up to 5th position, but I think he'll be taken out of the results. We'll wait to hear the official line. And now, the drag up the line. 45 minutes ago, I told you that the draft is strong here. Let's see who pulls out. Fastnacht pulls out really, really early, going for a spot on the podium at the line. The checkered flag is out. The VP Racing Fuel checkered flag is out. And at the line, it is Zilic who takes it from Michael Carter. And in 3rd place, it is Gresham Wagner, just ahead of Fastnacht and Roland. Then it's Cañero, 3rd in the rookies. Then Janson and Matthew Dirks and Justin Piscatell, and Chris Noons makes it into the top 10. From way down in the field from 24th position. There is an asterisk next to Aidan Fastnacht. He was assessed a drive-through penalty for contact with our guest driver Parker Kligerman, who fought his way back, by the way, in that number 75 Thunderbuddy racing car to 21st position. No doubt about the winner. New fastest lap in qualifying for the record for Conor Zilic, and he's turned that pole position into a win, Shea, Adam.
Well, and this race has done wonders for the championship battle, because with Jared Thomas being scored down in the 26th position, as it was Michael Staub who had the big off in the kink, the front end of that car looking a bit second-hand, as a matter of fact.
And Max Opalski involved in that as well. Sorry, I had 2 Staubs to choose from, and I picked the wrong one. But I'm not sure how the 51 got involved. That was a big, big sideways moment. And a great bit of avoidance from the driver of the number 27 car that was in behind there. That was awesome stuff. That was Dante Tornello. Well, that's big championship points for Conor Zilic. He's the best of the rookies. Fastnacht scored as 2nd best rookie. We'll wait to see what sanction race control take there for the Hickson Motorsports, for the Macumbi McAleer Racing driver, excuse me.
Yeah.
Points for leading the most laps for him as well, Shea.
Conor Zilic coming away not only with his first win but the bonus points for leading the most laps and taking the pole position, 10 points going the way of car number 5, Gresham Wagner, getting his fourth podium of the season, coming home in the 3rd place. And then Michael Carter, first podium of the season. He finishes in 2nd, and that, he hopes, will be able to kickstart him for a much better second half of 2022.
Gresham Wagner gets the points for fastest lap, half a second away from the race lap record. Well, a couple of interventions by the Mazda MX-5 safety car. Our guest driver, no doubt, doing himself no harm, and I'm sure having a lot of fun, but he'll be disappointed to be down in 21st. Martin Kligerman, though, starts on the front row for tomorrow's race, which is green flag at exactly the same time as this morning, just on 9 o'clock local time here in the central time zone at Road America. So make sure you tune back for that, all free, without any breaks or blocks in sound and vision via imsaradio.com. Hit the listen live or the live video and you can follow along. Connor Zilic takes it then for Hickson Motorsport ahead of Carter Racing Enterprises and Michael Carter in 2nd, with Gresham Wagner in 3rd for Spark Performance. 3 of the big teams in Idemitsu Mazda MX-5 Racing are on the podium for race 1. We'll do it all again tomorrow. Make sure you join Shea Adam and me, John Hindhaugh. Then, for the moment, for all of our production staff here at Road America and up at Charlotte, thanks for joining us and bye for now.